everyone, welcome back to Slits Car Care. This week, as you can see behind me, we have this brand new, so that's a 21 plate, the first 21 plate of the year, so the first 21 plate we've ever done. It's a Porsche Carrera 4S, and it's in for the Ceramic Pro Gold package as a new car protection detail. So the customers obviously bought this car and they've spent a lot of money on it, and they want to keep it looking the best they can for as long as they can. And that's why they've opted to protect all of the exterior surfaces using this package. Joe's already started masking off all of the plastic and rubber trims to make sure we don't get polish on those. And while he's doing that, I'm going to show you around the car, show you the defects that you might be dealing with on a brand new car, and then we can get cracking. Okay, so we've got our trusty Sealy torch. Let's go around the car and see what we can find. I can see already through the lights that we've got on in the unit that the paintwork is in pretty good nick, as you'd expect on a brand new Porsche. I'd imagine this car costs over £100,000, so you'd expect it to be pretty reasonable, but I've already spotted on this wing here, I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, is there is some hologramming and marring across the panel. So I don't think these cars would actually be machine polished by the dealership unless there was a reason to polish it. So unless there was a defect or you know, an issue that had occurred while the car was at the dealer. So yeah, that's not looking too great, but that's a nice easy fix for us. Also as well, the car is, you know, as I say, it's in very good condition, but there is just the odd scratch here and there that we're going to need to rectify. I'm aiming for near perfection on this car. I don't see why it shouldn't be achievable. So yeah, all of these need to go. And we've got a few scratches around the fuel filler cap as well. I don't know how well we're picking these up. And the same story again, just on the gloss black trims on the roof. This panel is glass, so that shouldn't need much. And also the gloss black trim on the front. As always, the gloss black sections seem to scratch up the easiest, so these have probably got more than the rest of the car, so we want to spend some time on these, and also as well on these tiny gloss black trims across the back, just to make sure that these are going to look as sharp as they can. The final real bit to note, apart from just general light scratching, is some heavier scratches around the edge of the door. You can see these. So these are obviously going to be from opening and closing the door, but they are unsightly, so we can fix these, and then the customer can make sure that, you know, the door is closed either off the glass or off the inside of the door to make sure these don't reoccur. So overall condition on the Porsche is pretty much what I expected, really. You know, it's not perfect, but it's not bad by any means. So we have a lot worse come through the door, but bear in mind it's only got 400 miles on it, so you'd expect it to be good. But our job here is to make sure that this paintwork is looking absolutely perfect. If we can't get it to less than one scratch a panel, then I'm disappointed. Let's put it that way. So after we've done a 2-stage paint correction on this one, it's going to be receiving 3 layers of Ceramic Pro 9H, 1 layer of Ceramic Pro top coat. The wheels are going to be removed and coated. Depending on how much time we've got, I may coat the wheel arches for the customer as well. I'm going to coat all the glass and also all of the exterior plastics too. So it's having a full exterior surface protection, and then I'll see how much time we've got and what we can do on the inside. So anyway, yeah, I think it's about time to start polishing. We had a nice easy day yesterday, it was bank holiday, so we thought we'd get a little bit ahead for the week, get the car prepped, get it pulled inside, so we can start polishing straight away, which is what we're about to do now. Okay, so I've just been having a bit of a battle with this wing for about an hour, maybe even 2 hours, because it reacted very differently to the rest of the car. This is the panel which had, you know, the holograms showing on it when I first went around the car, and once I took those off, it became more apparent that there was actually sanding marks. And then to get those out, I was using a heavier cutting combination, and I was actually using the same combination I've been using on the rest of the car, and it just didn't seem, no matter what I did, I kept finding more and more pigtail or DA marks, but the only way to get those out was actually to step down the aggressiveness of the combination I was using to something more gentle to actually get this panel to polish up correctly, which is quite strange considering this car's only got 400 miles on it. Right, so the cutting on the Porsche is now completed, apart from two bits. We've got the gloss black bit at the front here to do, and down at the back here, which Joe's just masking it off very nicely for us at the moment. Then, as soon as those are cut, we can start with the refining stroke dueling stage to finish off the machine polishing side of things on this detail. And then what we're going to be doing is nano priming the car, leaving that on overnight, and then we can start looking at other areas of the detail. So I think the next job is going to be the wheels and the arches, and then we can also look at applying things like the glass coatings. Okay, so here's the first combination I'm going to try for our refining stroke dueling stage. So we've got a Roops white foam pad and the Koshchemi M302 micro cut. So this is essentially a very, very, very fine polish with a very, very, very soft pad. The car isn't really marred or anything like that. This is just to bring out the kind of the next level of gloss. Right, I have no idea how visible this is going to be because it's hard to even tell the difference here in the flesh. So there is definitely a difference, but it's just quite hard to spot. So this is an area that we haven't refined yet. Now as I come up the bonnet, up to this section here, I don't know if you can see that line there, and it just adds a lot more depth of colour into the finish. As I say, it's really, really hard to spot, but in the flesh it looks stunning. It looks absolutely unreal. Right, okay, so I'll let you in on a little secret. Before I started this job, or before me and Joe started this job, I told him I wanted to aim for absolute perfection. And we had just finished doing the cutting and the refining stages and gone round the car with a fine tooth comb with a handheld light in the dark looking for any small imperfections that are still in the paintwork. Now, every single bit of green tape that is on the car currently is where an imperfection is. So that's just surprising really, even with the lighting setup that we've got and things like that, it's obviously just not showing up very well in this colour. So these are all areas that we can improve, so we're going to do that, refine these areas again, then nano prime it, which is probably going to be tomorrow now, and then we can look at applying the coatings. So a little bit of a setback, but it means that this car is going to be looking flawless. I mean, I'm sure you can see, and you probably think what we're dealing with here is ridiculous, but I'm sure that you can see that the details that we're talking about here are super, super tiny, super anal details. So, you know, we're really going to town on this to make sure that it's going to look the best it possibly can. before it gets coated. So yeah, watch this space. Okay, so Big Joe is now finishing off the spoiler, so then the cutting and the refining stages will then be complete on the Porsche. So while he's doing that, I'm going to start the nano priming, ready and preparing the surface of the car for the coatings to go on. Now, we have had a bit of a problem with our ep14 in that there's some sort of power supply issue. These cables, to be honest with you, I think they all need chopping and sorting out properly, so that's a job for us. So while that's in this state, I'm going to be applying the nano primer by hand to the car using the normal 5-inch machine polishing pads. Okay, so the 911's now wearing its layer of nano primer. We're going to leave this for an hour or so to cure. So while that's doing its business, I'm going to start pulling off the masking tape, ready for us to be able to apply the coatings straight after lunch. Okay, so the nano primer's on the car and it's curing, ready to come off after lunch and the coatings to go on. We've just took all the masking tape off. So the car's nearly there, it's nearly ready for the coatings and it's nearly ready for collection. Tomorrow, sort of. Anyway, so before we go for lunch, I want to have a game with Joe of who can get the best trick shot with masking tape balls into the bin. I'm gonna win. Joe's going for the spinning dragonfly ball throw. Not a bad effort, Joe, not a bad effort. Now my turn. Let me know in the comment section which one of us you think won that challenge. I mean, obviously I think it was me, but... Okay, so the Porsche is now ready for coatings. We're going to be taking off the nano primer and then putting on 3 layers of 9H on the bodywork, and also then today be taking off the wheels, cleaning up these properly and coating the calipers and the barrels and probably the faces as well before they're refitted tomorrow. So let's get on with it. Right, so we're just about to start coating the 911 with its 3 layers of 9H. We're going to have to be super careful with this because the paint's, one, it's flat red, and flat colours typically show up any marks and imperfections a lot more than a pearlescent or metallic colour. So any marks that we do put in at this stage will show up, and also as well it's quite soft. So we've got to be super careful to make sure that we are putting this on the best way possible to avoid any marring or anything like that, because it's our last opportunity now before the coatings are on it to rectify it. So the paintwork's looking fresh, it's nano primed, the gloss on it is ridiculous. So fingers crossed coating goes well and there's no marring induced, and then we can lock in that high quality finish. Right, so that's the 911 now coated with 3 layers of 9H. You've seen how we do it before. We build up the layers over a quarter of the car at a time, so we break the car down to 4 parts. We apply 1 layer, apply the 2nd layer, apply the 3rd layer, and remove it on the 3rd. Luckily, we were very cautious with how we coated this, really, just to ensure that we didn't incur any scratching, and I think we've gotten away with it quite nicely. We've kept the stunning finish which we managed to obtain in the polishing parts of the detail, and now we've got that harder layer protecting the paintwork now. So yeah, really happy with that. We're going to turn our attention now to the wheels once we've finished the final wipe over. We'll be getting top coat tomorrow and the glass coatings tomorrow, and all of the refining touches, so all of the clean up and plastic coatings, all of this sort of thing. So yeah, still plenty to do, but very happy with how this is turning out. Also as well, it's quite nice to have a coloured car back in the unit. It seems like forever since we've had something that's not white, grey or black, so to have something that's bright and colourful like this Guards red is a very nice change. Next week we also have a M2 in, I think it's Long Beach Blue, is it? Is that what it's called? That turquoisey blue colour that BMW do that's really nice. Anyway, so we've got a nice colourful couple of weeks before probably returning back to normality with black and dark coloured cars. But not that I resent that. It's nice to see a good reflection in a black car, but it's also nice to have something a bit bright and glary colour-wise in too, for a bit of a switch up. These flat colours, when there's no metallic in them as well, they are very unforgiving. That's why obviously I was mentioning about being super careful with our application of the coatings. There's no metallic, there's no glitter, so to speak, to hide any imperfection, so if there is any tiny scratch, it will show. That's why these sorts of colours take a little bit more attention to detail, and will try you a little bit more in terms of your cleanliness and your what's the word I'm looking for, Joe? And they'll really test you in terms of how clean your cloths are, how clean your pads are, and everything like that. So you've really got to be on point to get the best finish out of a flat colour like this. So that's the arches cleaned and the wheels prepped ready for coatings. Obviously the arches aren't that dirty, the car's got way less than 1,000 miles on it, but it'd be rude not to while the wheels are off, I think, wouldn't it? So yeah, the wheels were also decontaminated outside, so just a quick panel wipe prep was all that was needed really to get these ready for coatings. So yeah, making some cracking progress really. We're going to have the wheels coated by tonight and everything ready for tomorrow. I'm going to give the arches a spray over, I think, with top coat while the wheels are off, and we'll be coating it, and that'll give a bit of protection there. It's not included in the package that we're doing, but I'm feeling generous. So the calipers, I'm going to discuss with the customer tonight what the best route of action with these is. There's a few different coating options we can do depending on the finish he wants to achieve. So yeah, depending on if he wants to add more gloss or keep them matte, or what, you know, we can tailor the coating we use to you know, tailor the finish to what the customer requires. So that'll be interesting. So once the wheels are coated, we'll be leaving those overnight to cure, and we'll be coming back in the morning to do all the top coat bits, coat all the plastics. We've just got a bit more cleanup to do kind of on the underbody of the car, so the splitter and the under tray under the front and underneath the side skirts need a bit of a clean, and we'll be doing a bit of de-dusting and other things tonight as well, I think. So I've just spoken to the customer regarding the calipers, and he's opted to go for the more protection option, which means adding a bit of gloss. But to be honest with you, I think that's the best choice for these, because this sort of finish is so susceptible to like chemical etching, and I've seen them on older calipers in the past and they just start to look tired very, very quickly. So giving them that thicker layer of protection, adding a bit of gloss, I think is a good idea for calipers like these. So we're going to coat those with wheel and caliper, which will do that. And also coat the backs of the wheels with Ceramic Pro Strong as well. There we go. Although not completely glossy, it's just glossier, but also because there's that thick layer of protection on there, it means they're actually going to stay looking like this rather than fading over the years. They should stay looking nice and fresh. Right, so that's us done for today. We're going to leave the wheels off to cure overnight. We've done exactly what I wanted to get done today, so we've got all of the bodywork coated with 9H, that's ready to be sprayed with top coat tomorrow. Obviously we've got the wheels coated front and back, we've got the calipers coated, and we've got the arches prepared as well. So tomorrow, realistically, we're just going to clean up, spray on top coat, refit the wheels, coat the glass. So fingers crossed, I've said this before and jinxed myself, but fingers crossed a fairly relaxed day. So yeah, we'll catch you in the morning. So one tool that we found great for clean up and tidy up after polishing are just little normal cotton buds. They're great for getting to like the door shut areas where you can't quite get your finger with a microfiber or anything like that. So we're going to be cleaning out all of the shut gaps and all of the really tight edges with these and a little bit of quick detailer, just to make sure there's no polishing dust or any residue left on the car. Right, so we're more or less finished for the day on the Porsche. Before I show you the finished shots of that and finish the video off, let me just show you something else. So if you excuse the dirty car, it's about to get a wash, this one's mine. We've just had supplied to us a purified water system, so we can now use filtered water for our wash stages, meaning that the cars that we wash, we won't necessarily have to dry, and also there is a much lower chance of water spots. So when we get things like water running out of the mirrors, door shuts, this sort of thing, this will dry perfectly with no water spots, no calcium deposits, nothing like that. It's going to dry perfectly without even the need to dry it. Obviously the setup's not cheap, and also as well, there's a lot of waste water which we need to manage, which currently is just flooding the place, so we need to direct that into the drains. So yeah, this whole setup should make things a lot easier when it comes to washing a car and also maintaining a coated car as well, because there's a much lower chance, or almost zero chance, when we're monitoring the purity of the water of water spotting. So yeah, going to make things a lot easier. Very, very happy with this. We're just about to try it out for the first time. Okay, so yeah, you've seen the water filter system. The Porsche obviously is now complete. I've put it on the floor. For those of you curious, you know, why I went from just me on these videos to me and also Joe, I've really been frustrated recently with, not with the cars working or not with the customers, but I've just found that a week isn't long enough to achieve the finish that I wanted to achieve. And the only real way of doing, you know, of changing that was to either keep customers' cars for longer, which I think a week is long enough to be without your car, or get an extra set of hands in. So I opted for the second one. We've got Joe on board, who's doing really, really well, and you know, it's been a pleasure to work with, to be fair, and also is helping us to achieve the standard that I want to achieve on the cars that we're getting in, and you know, really push from being a great finish to a near perfect finish, especially on this car. You know, even though it's a new car, there's still defects, there's still bits, there's still imperfections, and really, as a detailer, you really want to try and aim for the, you know, the best possible finish you can, and also giving the best protection that you can on these cars. And as always, there's limitations on time, so yeah, it's really kind of changing the way the business is working, and it's not for profitability and it's not for turning out more cars, it's for giving our customers better, I think, value for money, and also better, you know, better results essentially on their cars, and that's, you know, what I aim to and strive to be able to do. So anyway, enough of me waffling. Thank you very much for watching again. Please don't forget to smash on that subscribe button, hit like as well, why not type up a comment, let us know some feedback or anything you'd like to see on the channel in the future, and we shall catch you on Sunday at 6 PM next week.